Okay, we're continuing part 2 of the vector paths. These are paths that automatically fill with color, a lot like Illustrator. So some of you will be loving this because you'll already know how to work these paths so well. And you also know because we were practicing this in the last section. The only difference was that we were taking paths and turning them into selections, whereas this time we have our pen tool, and you can see here it is, and this time though up in the options bar we've changed it to a shape. So I am just continuing on. Let's see here, I'm having, anytime you find it's wanting to create a new path, just make sure to option and click on your last anchor point. Now the other thing too that I'm watching carefully are the connections between one path segment and the next, and that's usually what you want to groom later and edit. And editing you can do very easily again with the command key or the control on the PC. I can come back and form fit shapes, like work the anchor point, move a handle, or actually the curve itself. So these are things you do to fix these paths and just make them gorgeous. Just note that when you're done doing that, you always have to come back to the last, anchor point that you were working on. And I'm holding the space bar down and moving this. Here's our last one. Just option click on that, and then you can carry on your lovely way. Option click on the anchor point. Now I'm going to move rapidly here, and you can watch. And just note, I'm not trying to be super exact, because what I'm doing is illustrating my own concept of the beautiful greyhound. Those lovely dogs that are mischievous and super beautiful. And cruising around this, trying to see what is a toe, and sometimes that's a little hard to figure out. Here's a little toenail. Now you can see that this is starting to become hard for me to tell what is what. And that's where what I like to do is just turn the opacity down up here on the fill layer, because I can turn it up later and carry on. Yeah. So we're cruising around this lovely shape. And that's what I want you to do this session is listen carefully, because I want you to create about between 7 and 10 or more shape layers per file. Whoops, space bar. And do a build. Like I might have this dog, and then I might have a leash, and then, I might, whoops, I didn't option click. Make sure you option click on those. I could add a person in there, so you might, copy and paste a person in, a background, maybe, a sidewalk, or maybe there's a lovely grassy meadow. I haven't thought about the next part, but I want you to get sort of a concept of how to do each one. So I may not go through 7 because I'm just repeating a routine. But what I will do is show you examples so that you're able to do your bunch. Notice I try to get as much curve as I can, take on as much in between your path segments as you can, because it just gives you that beautiful curve. If you clickety-clack through these with a lot of anchor points, then you kind of miss the beauty of this tool. And that's kind of not the point. You want to really try to work these. I don't know what's going on there. Space bar, when you're zoomed in, is your friend. On any tool, you can use that space bar to work. So I am cruising around the dog, having fun, and doing something that we have done before, but I just want to make it really clear when we have these assignments how to do them. And don't rush. I'm kind of moving a little faster than I probably normally would because there's a time limit to these lectures in terms of you get 15 minutes, and I just want to give you the basic concept, and then you guys can go for it. A little hard to see sometimes, like I'm like, what is that? That'll happen to you too, and just remember you're illustrating this, and it can look, I'm making up a toenail, it can look the way that you want, and just remember, not sure I'm digging that you can edit it later. So I'm not, that's the nice thing about these computer programs is that you can undo. Whereas in the real world, when you're painting, I know when I'm painting, sometimes I forget, and I'm going to undo that. Oh, I can't undo it. But in the graphic world, you can. Spacebar. Now, if you hear grunting, it's because my actual Italian Greyhound is right next to me. So I just got to warn you. That's Luna. And she is so cute. They're really cool dogs. And wrapping this up, I think we're getting close with each, beautiful curve. If you have a problem, step backward. And, that concept of haste makes waste is really true, because I'm doing that right now by do not rush. Rushing in graphic design can cause problems, almost always. Keep it going, and when you have a straight path, just click and let go and carry on, just like I did there. Space bar. We're almost coming around the mountain here, and just going to wrap this up so that we can look at some other aspects. Now, when you make these shape layers and you have a bunch, like if I have, a bunch of shape layers that are talking about this one Italian Greyhound, which could be true. It could be that I might include the spots and they would be on their own shape layer. And you can just look at the cover of your book, because that dog is vector. And if they'd wanted to, they could have added, I don't remember, but if you add an eye or spots or different colors on top, like the markings of a dog, then those would be on different layers, because each vector shape represents a different color. And so you can't put more than one color on one vector layer. So that would start to build up your layers. I just think it'd be fun if you really do a whole piece. Like I could have this greyhound running with the leash, and the woman's on her cell phone, and if you do images like that, and I really want you to invest in it, then those are sellable images if you think about something that is timeless. The only thing with cell phones is they tend to seem to change every year. But if you do stuff that's timeless, or like I was telling one class, the whole pharmaceutical industry just blows up. They have a lot of money to spend. And, if you get something really good, like the dancing pill or the cute doctor or whatever, all of shape layer builds, then you can get somewhere. Now I'm hesitating because I want to bring this up, that I'm looking at this and thinking that's not really a corner point. And be careful of that, because if you put an anchor point at kind of what seemed like a corner right here, then it will be a corner. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm going to stop right before it. I'm having issues today with the option click. If you start right before it, get in a little closer, then you can actually make it a nice tight curve. And I like that better. So sometimes really think about whether what you have is a curve or what you have is a corner. Now, I can't really see this dude's cute little pooch's mouth very well. So we'll make do, but you can tell I'm a lover of the greyhound. They are cool dogs, just like all dogs and cats. Some people like the cat, some people like the dog, and some people like the hamster. And I am now digressing because I want to finish this. Coming around, we're finishing up. Not sure, but if what that is there. And then we'll get a chance to see how this looks. And these are gorgeous because now I can enlarge this the size of a billboard. You know, that's why logos are done in vector, because if you are needing to enlarge it and it's raster, your client's going to be upset. It won't be a happy moment when they put a rasterized logo onto a huge billboard and it looks rasterized and pixelated. Back up. Spacebar. I think I've got to be coming close. These just take time. And patience. Now I'm editing this with the command key because it wasn't quite right. And you can do that at any point, which is what's great. Option click. And we're coming here. I think we're close. I'm feeling it. We're getting there. Spacebar. And we'll close. You know you're closing, and just to show you that, when you come up to the beginning point and you get that circle, and I'm just going to kind of polish this off, and Command 0 or Control 0 to back out. Now, I have not cut out the leg, and I want to talk about that because, oops, turn that on. What happens now is I've got my path, and don't ignite it like this is igniting it. If you Command or Control on the PC and click on it, that is igniting it. That's what I mean by that. I'm going to Command and click kind of off here in space, and you need to have your path just as a line. And then if you need to cut out, which I do this portion here, that is up in your options bar under Subtract. There it is. And I'm going to zoom in, Command plus, get on in. And if you have Subtract on up here, this means I'm about to chop this out. So let me do that really quickly. Very quickly. And that's what you do when you have sections that are closed. See, this leg has closed off this section, and I really should be zoomed in. Let me be good and teach you the importance of zooming in, because otherwise you can see I'm already got little issues here with the leg because things look different when you're not zoomed in. When in doubt, alt click on your last anchor point and carry on. That's quite a toenail. I'm going to try to communicate toenailness. It might be a little funny looking down there, but the nice thing is that you can edit. When in doubt, you can always edit this later. And as my mom always said, whatever you do, make sure you have fun doing it, even if it's a chore, which I always have liked, because not everything in life is fun, but you can make it what you want. Spacebar, option click just to make sure. Yeah, when you edit, it's